How many of you would like to improve your memory? I think we all would like to have a better memory. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you might do that, and also talk a little bit about what memory is and how it originates. Now, without memory, we really don't have an identity. And without memory, we really aren't fully human. And if you don't believe that, ask a relative of somebody that has Alzheimer's disease, or has some other type of problem like dementia that has taken away their memory. They're really not fully human anymore. So how does memory work? There's a part of the brain called the hippocampus. Hippocampus, I think I said that right. And that's where all this stuff goes. Any ideas you have, any imagination, everything you see, everything you hear, all the sensory stuff goes into the hippocampus. And that's short-term memory. And the problem with Alzheimer's is that that disease first hits the hippocampus. So you have long-term memory left in the rest of your brain, but you can't process short-term memory, and you forget everything that happened 5 minutes ago, potentially. Now, what would happen if everything that went into the hippocampus went into long-term memory? Just imagine, you walk in the grocery store, you walk down, up and down the aisles looking for the items you want, and when you come out into long-term memory goes every item in the whole grocery store, its location, the color of the package, just all the information that happened to be there in the grocery store. Wouldn't that be kind of overwhelming?
It would.
So part of the job of the hippocampus and the short-term memory is to decide what's important and what's not important, and the stuff that's not important, it throws it out. And the things that are important, it's going to put it in long-term memory. And it's going to do that mostly when you sleep at night, according to the research that I've read. And it kind of makes all these connections and said, okay, you have this short-term memory, what is that? How does that relate to some of our other long-term memories? And it tries to make those kind of connections. And that's why it's important to get some sleep when you're trying to learn things. And then finally, the final step in memory is recalling. And if it goes into long-term memory and you just leave it there, eventually it's going to be very hard to recall. And I'm at the age where sometimes there's words that I know, and I know that I know them, but I just cannot quite recall them because I haven't used them or haven't seen them for a while. And of course, if I read them or see them or hear them, I know the word. It's still there, I just have a difficult time getting it out sometimes. Well, I was interested as we were, a couple of things about that really help you when you're processing all this. One thing is mental exercise, and they found out that it really helps to play chess, for instance, because in chess you have to think ahead for like, moves. Okay, if I make this move, what's the opponent going to do, and then I'm going to do this. And so the more moves that you can plan ahead and keep in your memory, the better you're going to do at chess, and that's going to actually improve your memory. Another thing that will help is healthy eating, physical exercise, and of course stress reduction. If you're too stressed out, it's hard to remember things. I was looking about some things about memory, and one of the things that I found were a couple of research projects that psychologists did. Now imagine that you're a college student and you get minimum wage and maybe some free pizza, and they're going to test you like a rat in a laboratory. Well, this one particular test that they did, they had a questionnaire, and they had different types of questions. And the first, I don't know if this is too hard to read from this far off, but the first type of question was a structure question. And it had things like, how many capitals are in the letter bear? And of course there's 4 letters and they're all capitalized. 4, so the answer is 4. Doesn't really mean a whole lot, does it? And then the second type of question was sound. Does apple rhyme with Snapple? Sure. Again, not that important. And then the third type of question that they had was a concept type of question. Is a tool another word for instrument? Yeah, it's another word for instrument. And then the final type of question was a personal connection. Do you like pizza? Either you do or you don't. So then the next day they tested to see how many of these type of questions they could remember. People remembered one structure question, but 2 sound questions, 4 concept questions, and 6 personal connection questions. So if you want to remember something, you've got to make a personal connection with it. Now, if I was trying to memorize, say, the capital of Bavaria, which happens to be Munich, that's kind of, I don't know if that's a sound question, a structure question, or a concept question, but I could make that a personal connection by doing what? Well, we had the cover of our Toastmasters magazine. There was this pretty girl that married another Toastmaster guy. So I would think, okay, I am in Munich and I meet this beautiful girl at the restaurant and she's the waitress and she comes there and gives me my favorite beverage and my favorite food to eat. Now, see, I made a personal connection with that image and the girl in Munich, and so I hope that would probably help me remember that much better. Another thing that they did was they took a picture from a magazine and showed it for about a second to the student. And they did 600 and so pictures like this. Then the next day they showed 2 pictures, one the picture that they'd seen, one the picture they hadn't seen. They got 98% of those pictures right. They recognized the picture they'd seen the day before. So they said, okay, let's make this harder. So they took 10,000 pictures and they waited 5 days and they tested the students. And the students still remembered 86% of those pictures. So what does that tell us? If you want to remember something, have a picture. Draw a picture, get a picture, imagine a picture. And if you want to have your audience remember something, show them a picture. It's going to help them. And finally, they found out that a strong emotion helps you remember. Now, whether that's a good emotion or a bad emotion, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's a strong emotion, you're going to remember. So again, you can use your imagination to get that. So use these tools and you can improve your memory.